Capitalism is bad. Hi, I'm Disguised Toast, and today I'm gonna talk about gifts slash gear that you can buy as a streamer or buy for a streamer, because there's a lot of equipment out there that streamers use, and there's a lot of marketing being done by companies that make these gear, telling you that you need this peripheral if you want to be a streamer, you need this webcam, and you need this microphone if you want to be super famous. But let's be honest, that those aren't that important. What you need is a personality and good content. But let's assume you have that for a second. You probably don't, but let's assume you have it. What kind of stuff do you need to become a successful streamer? Now, before we get started, I would like to point out that I am not sponsored by any gear company. I'm not sponsored by any PC company. In fact, I have a deal in the pipeline coming up for a lot of money. And I said to myself, Toast, you gotta do a gear guide before you get sponsored, or else people will question your unbiasedness. So here we go. Gear streamers use. These are items I use from the beginning of my career until the current step of my career. So I'm gonna go through essentially tiers, because there are multiple tiers to every single item for a streamer, right? Let's get started. I want to say streamer gear are pretty evergreen. A lot of the gear people use are 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, even 10 years old. It's not like iPhones where you have to buy a new one every single year because you're an Apple slave. And oh my God, if I don't have the latest Apple, streamer gear are pretty durable. So I expect this guide to be usable for the next 3 to 4 years, because nothing really gets made that makes you go, oh my God, I need that. The exception is PC if new games are coming out, but this isn't really a PC guide, it's a gear guide. So let's get started. I'm going to try to go from cheapest to most expensive. You don't have to get the most expensive one. I know what you're thinking. Toast, just tell us what gear you use so I can go buy it and become just like you. All the kids want to be like me. All the girls want to be like me. All the boys that want to be like me. But you can't be like me. I'm built different. So I really suggest looking at your budget and seeing what makes sense for you. Let's start with webcam, because you gotta look at your face, right? To farm that parasocial relationship, you need to know what your streamer looks like. So a webcam is super important, but there are some exceptions. But nowadays, I feel like webcam is pretty necessary, unless you're a dream or a corpse or a 5-up, but those guys are very rare. So what's a good starting webcam? It's okay to start cheap and stay cheap, because when you look at XQC, Tyler Ones, their webcam are C920s. These are $60. Known for being very durable, very popular amongst the streaming crowd. The C920 is what I would recommend. I started with a C920, and I think the majority of streamers actually do use C920. So I would highly suggest a C920. This is as good as a USB camera is gonna get. Anything more expensive than this for a USB camera, I don't really recommend. You will do completely fine with just the C920. I think there's also the C922, right? Like a more updated version of the C920. It's $20 more. It's very similar. I think they tried to make it like a little more improved, but it's all just tech talk. Should be very affordable if you're trying to start a streamer career. Now, there's a big leap between web cameras, because if you're using a USB camera where you just plug and play, that's the simplest thing. That's what I recommend for 99% of streamers. However, if you want to be like me and get a little fancy with it, as you guys can tell, my camera is not a USB camera because it's a little high def. It's a traditional photography, videography camera, right? These are the things people use for professional photo shoots and even movies. You can control the blur, you can control the zoom. Very fancy. I don't recommend this for the majority of streamers, but because here's the thing, high quality is actually not strictly better, because when you make something too high quality, it starts looking weird. Like, this is extremely high quality. And if you don't like the way you look in high definition, and that applies to a lot of people actually hate high definition cameras because it just exposes all your imperfections, and we all have those. The other problem with high quality cameras is you need lighting. I have a key light over here that's blasting lights against the wall, reflecting on my face. And I'm also wearing a bit of makeup, because if I'm not wearing makeup and I'm using high definition cameras, my God, there goes my self-esteem. A lot of downside to using high quality cameras. But if you do want to get it, there are a few options. Mine is the Canon EOS R, the full frame mirrorless camera. It is $1,600, on the expensive side. Other cameras will work too. Other DSLR cameras will work as long as they have a clean HDMI output. So the one I'm using is ESOR. And that's just the body, because with fancy cameras, there's two parts to it. You have the body and the lens. You need to have both. So this is half of it. The lens I'm using is Canon 24 to 70 millimeter lens. This bad boy is $2,400. So my camera setup overall is about $4,000. As you can see, to go from $60 USB webcam to $4,000 fancy camera, it's not worth it. I really do not suggest buying an expensive camera for your streams. No matter what people are gonna tell you, hey, it's gonna make your cam quality better, you're gonna get more viewers, you're gonna blah, 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 blah. It's not worth it. I only do it because I am a big streamer and I have a YouTube channel and I make YouTube videos as part of my job. So for me, it's fine. For you guys, definitely not worth it. So webcam recommendation, C920 or C922, ideally C920. Next up, second most important tool, well, actually the most important tool, I would say, microphones. Baby's first microphone, I recommend the Snowball. The Snowball was the first microphone I bought once I decided I want to be a content creator. It's very cheap, $50. You can get away with like these headset mics if you want to be like Tyler 1, but I suggest having a dedicated microphone. It is a USB mic. A lot of the beginner and intermediate gear are going to be USB based because every PC has a USB. Snowball microphone, it's a microphone that you put in front of you. It captures a lot of audio, so I don't love it if you're in like a loud environment because it's really sensitive, but it's a cute little one. You just put there and you talk into it. Great beginner mic, you just plug and play. The next step up, which you can kind of jump into because it's not much more expensive than the Snowball, is by the same company, the Blue Yeti. Wow, by more expensive, I mean it's double the price, $400. Blue Yeti, it's a very high quality mic. It's also USB. A lot of streamers use this even now. A lot of professional podcasts even still use the Blue Yeti. I think as far as USB mics go, this is the best you can get for the price. Anything beyond this, I don't recommend for USB. You have to do some sound treatment, of course, to make sure your room's not loud. You gotta play with the audio a little bit, but it's the one I upgraded to once I was done with my Snowball. Other options, the AT2020. I would also recommend it, even though I haven't used it. A lot of streamers use the AT2020. For our IRL stream these days in the living room, we have been using the Elgato Wave 3. This one is very simple to use. Elgato makes products designed for streamers. That doesn't necessarily mean their quality is the best, but they are designed for streamers because Elgato is really good at marketing their products to streamers. So if you know a streamer or a friend who's trying to be a streamer, they talk a lot about Elgato. I would say Elgato has a select couple of items that's really good for streamers, and the other stuff I would say they are underperforming compared to the industry. But because they are great at marketing towards streamers, people kind of have this preconceived notion that if you're a streamer, you buy Elgato product, which is not the case. There are a couple of products I actually use from Elgato, like my lighting. My key light is from Elgato, and we use the Elgato mic for kitchen streams. Those are two decent products. So if you don't want to think too much about research or like, oh, this is best, that is more efficient, Elgato, you can't really go wrong with it either. So that's USB mics. Very simple. You plug it in, it works. Great for beginner, intermediate streamer. However, if you want to up your game, you start going to XLR microphones. Now, XLR means the cable type. You got USB, you got XLR. This is what an XLR cable looks like. Now, I assume most of your PCs do not have a port like this. I would say no one's PC will have a port like this. XLR is traditional sound equipment gear. So once you start using XLR, that means you're getting into a level that's used by people in traditional cinema productions. The ultimate XLR microphone that everyone uses is this one. If you scroll through any Twitch stream, like category, if you look at podcasts, a lot of podcasts uses this one. We use this on the Offline TV podcast as well. This is the Shure SM7B. This piece of gear is 14 years old. This guy right here. So that's what I mean by like when it comes to broadcasting gear, newer definitely does not mean better, because this kind of gear is used again in traditional media and they make some really high quality stuff, right? The stuff they make is designed to last for a long time. The reason why a lot of people like this SM7B microphone is because it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Insensitive, unsensitive. You have to talk into it. The placement of the microphone is very close to the broadcaster's face. So everyone who uses SM7B have their mics right up to their face. It's not like here. Like over here, you can kind of hear me, but it's getting softer. Over here, it's even softer, right? So for streamers who don't like to think too much on how to set it up or like how to balance the audio perfectly, the SM7B is great because you just bada boom, bring up to the face, and it sounds great. It is a good one-person microphone. Downside is if you have some friends over and they're sitting off to the side, it's really hard to pick up their audio. The cost, $360. The problem is, in order for you to use the SM7B, you need to be able to accept an XLR cable, right? It's not USB mic. This cable, not a USB cable. You cannot just plug it into your PC, which means you now have to buy another item to make your SM7B work. But before we get off the mic section, I would say SM7B, top tier, highly recommend. Wouldn't really recommend anything else. Now we move on to audio interfaces. How do you use an XLR cable microphone? Well, you buy more shit. You need an audio interface, a device that takes an XLR microphone and turns it into a USB cable so you can plug it into your PC. Most people start with the Focusrite Solo. This is a good simple one. It's $100, very straightforward. It's got a little XLR input on the left. On the left here, a little knob on the gain, a little audio monitor to listen to it. If you want to plug your headphones into that. That's what I started with. I would recommend it. It's very simple. Plug the XLR cable in, plug the audio interface into your PC, and you can control the volume of it. A lot of money, I know. It's not easy being a streamer, so I want to really make sure you guys are buying the right things and always do your own research. This is just what I personally have used. Now, there's a wide range of audio interfaces. I use the Babyface Pro. It's a little pricier than $100. It accepts 2 inputs, has multiple outputs, so you can connect 2 microphones into it, and you can control the input output of everything and play around with the audio, like mixing. I don't use any of that. I just like it because I occasionally use 2 microphones. It's a big jump in audio phases, but once again, I am a established streamer. I can afford these things to just improve the quality of my streams a little bit. There's a huge diminishing return when it comes to streamer gear. I know the jump from $100 to $1,000 is huge. So I would say you can just stay at $100. So that's the 2 audio interfaces I have used in the past. I use also, there's another brand called Behringer, which is extremely popular that I have used occasionally from time to time. It's the same idea, $100 for an audio interface. Plug it in, plug it into your PC, bada boom, bada bing. Now with the SM7B, it actually is so soft that sometimes you need an extra device to boost the audio of it. And what people do is they buy the SM7B and they buy an audio interface. Now, if the audio interface does not come with like a built-in gain for your microphone, a lot of people will buy something called a cloud lifter, which essentially boosts the volume of it. So you buy the SM7B, you buy the Focusrite, and then you buy the cloud lifter and connect it all together to plug into your PC. It's a lot of products and a lot of money. So recommendation, buy a Blue Yeti or an AT2020. And once you make it to the big times, then look into improving your audio setup. Toast, why not just yell really loudly? Yeah, you know, you can do that. You can do that too, I guess. If you don't want to buy a cloud lifter, just scream into the mic so they can hear. All right, headsets. Now, this one, I would highly recommend just you buying whatever you're most comfortable with. There's not a big difference between headsets. There's no headset that will make you a better gamer. There's no headset that will make you like react faster or anything. It's just whatever feels comfortable on your head. Because if you're going to be streaming or gaming, you're going to be wearing this for hours. So you want to find something that's comfortable for you. That's the most important thing. Comfortability. I've tried a lot of headsets. This is the one I'm currently using because it's wireless. See? Now there's a tiny downside to wireless microphone is, well, there's two. You gotta keep it charged. If you guys have seen my stream, occasionally I would have to take my headset off and not use it because I forgot to charge it the night before. It's really annoying. So you gotta charge it. If you forget, then you gotta tell your boys, hey, can you give me 30 minutes so I can charge it? The other downside is there is a tiny minuscule delay depending on how good your headset is because it is wireless, which means there is like a very small delay. Now, if you're like a professional, I'm pretty sure professional Valorant players and FPS players still just use wireless headset. But if that's something that would like mess with your mind and you think, oh my God, if I only heard them tiny second earlier, then I would go with a wired headset. But I'm going wireless right now because I like moving around. I like going to the bathroom without having to take it off. I like less cables on my setup. So I'm using the Corsair HS80. It's okay. I've tried 8 different headsets and this is the one that's wireless that is somewhat comfortable. I definitely can't wear it for long periods of time because it just starts wearing on my ears after a while. But out of the 10 or so headsets I've tried, this is the one I have been sticking with. But if you guys want to Google best headset, there's like hundreds of options. There's no real like right answer or wrong answer. Ask your favorite streamer what headset they use if you want. But mine right now is the HS80. Yeah, headsets are really heavy. So like if you have a weird shaped head as well, it kind of like squeezes at your top. It pushes your hair down. Some people say it messes with your hairline. I don't know if that's true. I know a lot of people expect more for headsets, but when it comes to headsets, it's just whatever you're most comfortable with, right? You can use earbuds if you want. All right, next up we have capture cards. What are capture cards? Capture cards capture things. If you're a streamer and you want to stream Nintendo Switch game, Xbox game, PlayStation 4 games, PlayStation 5 now, I guess, or even capturing fancy cameras, because you need a capture card to use a fancy camera. You can't just plug it into your PC. Capture cards is what you use to show something that's not on your PC. Nintendo Switches, other PC, fancy camera, any consoles. You need a capture card. My favorite one is called, now there's 2 kinds of capture cards, internal, external. Internal capture cards, you pop open your PC and you, boom, stick it into your motherboard and you screw it back on. That's an internal capture card. So it lives inside your PC. External, as the name implies, is a USB capture card that you just plug into a USB slot. I recommend external capture cards because internal is more for advanced streamers. My favorite capture card is the USB Magewell HDMI capture card. I love this. I have 3 of them, both because I love it and because I keep losing them, but it's just that good. So this is the one I buy, and I have bought 3 separate times and I just keep buying it. It's a very simple thing. You have a USB connector for your PC and an HDMI input for whatever you're capturing. So if you're trying to capture a Nintendo Switch, there's an HDMI output, plug it in. Xbox, plug it in. It is a little expensive, $250, but that's kind of what you have to pay if you want to capture different content, right? Elgato does sell capture card as well. I personally don't love Elgato capture cards. I know that's a very controversial thing to say, and it's a hot take because if you guys are somewhat familiar with the space, whenever you hear capture card, someone will always say Elgato, Elgato capture card, Elgato capture card, Elgato capture cards. I've used Elgato capture cards, and I would say they work like 75% of the time, which is a pretty high number, but it's still a little lower than what it should be. Because they make this for streamers specifically, it means it doesn't capture everything. Like, it might be good for an Xbox or Switch, but if you have a fancy camera that you want to capture, it might not work. There's so much possible issues. You also have to download a lot of software sometimes. They're like, download this capture utility. I don't love it. Probably kills any chances of a future sponsorship, but Elgato, you do make good products on other fronts. I just gotta be real with you. Your capture cards are not great, and it isn't something I would recommend. But maybe one day, if you guys come up with a new capture card and you want me to test it, and if it's great, I will say it's great, and then you sponsor me, we got a working relationship, amazing. I just don't like downloading a bunch of software to try and make a product work. So when it comes to capture card, I highly recommend Magewell. It's a very professional grade brand, so you know it's coming from a good place. It's not just meant for streamers, it's just meant for like anything. Now that's external capture cards. Now we can look at internal capture cards, which are more high powered because they plug in directly inside your PC. So my capture card, the one I'm using right now to capture this camera, I'm using the Pro Quad capture card. So to install this, I had to open up my PC and stick this onto my motherboard. It has 4 input. I'm only using 1 input right now, fancy camera. But if I want to capture a Nintendo Switch, if I want to stream a Switch game, if I want to stream an Xbox game, I have 3 other slots. If I want to have an extra high quality camera, I can set it up elsewhere and I have a slot to plug it into. Now, if you don't foresee yourself using all 4, don't buy something with all 4. You can buy something with 2 or 1 even. But if you somehow need to capture 4 separate things at the same time, you can get one of these. 99.99999% of you will not need that. At most, you need 1 for your Nintendo Switch or your Xbox or your PlayStation. So that's capture cards. Next up, what do you guys want to do? Mouse and keyboard. I feel like a lot of these things are just preference, right? Like when it comes to keyboard and mouses. I know like the audience likes to know just exactly what do you use, this guy's Toast famous streamer. I want to buy what you have. I'll tell you guys. But let me preface this. When it comes to mouse, keyboard, it's just whatever feels good for you. I'll tell you what I have. I won't have like a different kind of recommendation because I don't think there's like a tier list. For keyboard, I have... It's a Rockcat Vulcan. It's dirty, I know, like every single gamer keyboard. Don't act like it's just me. Yeah, this is mine. It was sent to me. I tried out a whole bunch of different ones. The reason why I like this one is because I actually do not like having a numpad. Because the times I use a numpad, it's very low. And I don't want to eat up too much space on my desk. I like having a very minimalist desk. So I went with this one because no numpad. And what I also like about this one is even though there are some gunk in between, it's pretty easy to clean. You guys can't tell, but like things can't really get underneath the keycaps because it's one flat surface. So if I just blow on it, like a bunch of dust just flies off. Now it's all over my table. But it's not like traditional keyboard where it's like a lot of nook and crannies, and to wash it, you have to use air canister to go. This one you can kind of just blow on it. The mouse I use is it's a little bougie. It's a little exclusive. If you guys are in the gaming space, you may have heard about it. They do very limited drops, and to get these mouses, you kind of have to go on eBay to find it. It is the Ultralights. I swear these guys are sold out 24/7. It's a very light mouse that I've just gotten used to using it, and I don't like changing my mices once I get used to one. It's extremely light, like the honeycomb design, like you can see what's inside. Super light. When it comes to mouse, it's just whatever you're comfortable with. These are wired. If you like wireless mouses, go for a wireless mouse. Just be careful when it comes to wireless stuff. Make sure there is no delay between your movement and what appears on the screen, because you would hate having delay with your mouse, especially if you're playing FPS. I can't really recommend mouses that much because I've only used the one. But if you're a god gamer, I'm sure it doesn't really matter what mouse you use. Can we see? Yeah, I know Zowie has a few good ones. It's a known brand. I hear good things about the G Pro. I haven't used them before. I've only used the ultralight. It's very preference based. The weight of it, everyone has different strength. Everyone has different sensitivity preference. So it's whatever feels the best in your hand. I used the Razer for a while, but Razer I don't know. Razer is one of those brands that became too gamery. Like at the beginning of like the esports scene and the streaming scene, everyone's like, oh damn, Razer, sheesh, you're a real gamer. But nowadays, when I hear Razer, it's like, it's kind of overrated, and I'm not actually sure if it's that good. And this RGB and everything, which like they make you download software to make your mouse glow, and I'm like, that's too much. I don't want to install software on my PC to make my mouse glow. Like, no thank you. What else? Chair? Gamer chair? Guys, just sit in whatever chair makes you the most comfortable. Oh god, I'm gonna ruin so much chair sponsor with this. Fuck! Okay, gamer chairs. When I say gamer chairs, I mean the big, gigantic kinds like these ones. It's hard to generalize them as a whole because there's such a wide variety of brands and like models. You don't need a gamer chair. When it comes to products, you don't want to buy something that is very good for gamers. You want to just buy something that's very good, because gamers aren't the only people sitting in front of a computer for 10 hours a day. There's like office workers, accountants, software engineers. They all do that. So instead of getting a chair that's like a gamer chair that's gonna make you good at gaming, buy a chair that is just known for being a good fucking chair. I don't like using gamer chairs myself. I know there are some good ones out there. I personally don't use them. I try to avoid them because they are very tall, right? And sometimes they have a pillow here, and I don't like that. I don't like having my neck messed with. And the backs are very hard and very straight. I don't like that either. And their seats sometimes are angled upwards, like at a slight angle. Like with these pictures, you can kind of tell. Like there's a slight upward angle. I don't like that either. And sometimes the armrest is very hard or very bulky or very big. I don't love that either. So that's why I personally do not use gamer chairs. If you like gamer chair, go ahead, buy whatever you want. Oh god, I'm never gonna get sponsored unless no, I can't. I have to tell the truth. Fuck. I have to tell the truth. You've never seen me use a gamer chair, right? And that's because I don't like it. Now, if I ever get sponsored to use a gamer chair, I'll use it for my sponsor. But let the record show, as of right now, I haven't come across a gamer chair that I enjoyed using. So what chair do I use? My chair is actually from a gamer chair brand. The new chair. Yeah, this one. It's a very simple chair. It is actually from Secret Labs. I bought mine off Secret Labs. Secret Labs, if you want to sponsor me, I'm telling you right now, I use your chair. Okay, I don't think they actually make it. I think they are one of the people who sell it. Here we go, the new chair. Okay, they do sell it, but it's the one I use. It's the one I buy whenever I like have to change setups or move houses and I can't bring my chair for whatever reason. It's a $560 chair. Now I know that seems expensive because it is, but if your job is to sit in front of a PC all day, a chair is actually one of the better things you can buy because it's your health, right? That's similar to a mattress. You're going to be sleeping on a mattress for 8 hours every single day for the rest of your life. Mattress, chair. If you're going to sit in front of a PC all the time, you're going to sit in your chair all the time, try and get a good chair. It is expensive. It's probably not on your highest priority. It's not like the highest priority item to buy, but if you ever make it and you ever have extra money and you want to improve your posture or just feel a little better about like the way you sit, a good chair goes a long way. So this is the one I use. This is actually considered medium in terms of price. I bought cushions. I actually don't use this armrest as it is. I actually buy little arm pads. Because I like to rest my arms on the armrest, but without this, sometimes it gets a little painful. Like 10 bucks off Amazon. This is the chair I use. This is the chair I enjoy using and I always try and use. Now, if you want to go the more traditional route, the fancy route, everyone knows about Herman Miller. A lot of offices around the world has it. When I was working as a software engineer in San Francisco, it was majority Herman Miller. It is known as a famous chair brand, a famous expensive chair brand. And they have a whole bunch of tier. A lot of offices actually sell these secondhand because businesses sometimes go bankrupt and they have a whole bunch of these chairs and they're super expensive. So if you ever can find a secondhand one, good for you. So these are Herman Miller chairs. They last for a long time, have big warranty. And this is their typical office chair, $1,500. I've used one before. It's nice, but I would rather use mine for 1/3 the price. They also have a gaming chair, which I don't like it when things are called gaming. When it comes to products like these, it's like, why isn't it just a good chair? Why is it a gaming gamer chair? That's a gaming gamer chair. It's such a marketing gimmick. Right? Just call it a good chair. I think the reason why I don't like it is I don't want people buying products because it's marketed for gamers. Because the normal human being's gonna want to sit in a good chair and a gamer's gonna want to sit in a good chair. So yeah, that's like the fancy chair. But chairs aside, seriously, just sit in whatever works for you. Go to your living room, pull your pull-out chair out. Your pull-out chair out. Like a folding chair. I've streamed on a folding chair before. I've sat on the floor before. Get like a $5 stool if you have to. Sit in whatever makes you most comfortable. Chairs, not important. Whatever makes you more comfortable. Okay, monitors. Again, so many different brands, so many different models, but there are a few things you can look for. Number one, refresh rate, which is essentially how fast, like FPS, right? 60 FPS, you guys heard about it. 30 FPS is like, you can see it displays 30 frames a second, 60 FPS, 60 frames per second. So you want a monitor that can keep up with it. And in the past, like 5 years ago, the standard was 60 refresh rate, 60 hertz. That is no longer the case. Nowadays, the standard, the kind of bare minimum refresh rate should be 144. My monitor, 144. I have 3 monitors on. They all have 144. Anything lower than that, I do not like. Like, I can notice it. And it's actually a huge difference. Like, if you play Valorant on 30 FPS and you play Valorant on 144 FPS, you can tell the difference. So I do 144. There are higher, you can go up to 240 if you want. If you are trying to be a semi-serious gamer, 144 is good. 60 is okay. Like if you don't want to buy a new monitor and you check your current monitor, it says 60 refresh rate, that's totally fine. 60 is still a good number. But some people just like that little extra smoothness with 144. Like when you watch YouTube videos, right? It's 60 FPS at most. Majority of YouTube videos are actually 30 FPS with some at 60 FPS. So 60 is good. 60 is very good, but 144 is what a lot of gamers aim for. Another thing is resolution. 1080p is the industry standard. Really do not recommend going lower than 1080. If you're someone who loves watching like high definition 4K stuff, get a better monitor if you want. But when I buy monitor, if it has 1080, I'm happy with that. I don't care too much about anything higher than 1080. And if you're streaming, most streams stream at 1080p. Most both from a viewer perspective, you're watching at 1080p at most, and a streamer perspective, you're streaming at 1080p at most, because anything higher, you're gonna kill your PC or your internet. So 1080p is just baseline. So that's the two things. 1080p, 144 refresh rate. Another thing that you should consider is delay, input delay. Every monitor has an input delay. Every TV has an input delay. That's why when you play Xbox or Switch or PlayStation on your TV in the living room, there's a slightly sluggish feeling. Not sure if you guys have noticed before, but when you play console games, it always feels just a little tiny bit sluggish. And the reason for that is because most traditional TVs have delay, because when you're watching TV, it doesn't matter if there's a delay, right? If you have a satellite or cable, you're watching Netflix, it doesn't matter if it has delay from your Apple TV or your Roku to your TV, because you're just watching at the same time. There's no input. However, if you're a gamer, delay matters. If you're trying to do your down smash or your neutral air in Smash, and you have to account for delay, it gets really, really annoying. That's why a lot of people, when they play console games, they play it on a PC monitor, because those are designed to have minimal delay. So that's what I would look for on top of everything, is to minimize the delay between your PC to your monitor, your console to your monitor. There will always be a delay. You just want something with minimal delay. Things like, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like 5 ms, right? Or is it 1 ms? I think 1 ms is like as fast as it gets. 1 is like the minimal. Holy shit. Like anything from 5 to 1, I think is fine. Anything higher than that, you're gonna start noticing it. Look for a low number on the delay. Let's take a look at this one. Asus 165 Hz, 1080p, 0.5 second ms. So you see, that's the three things we talked about, right? Refresh rate, resolution, delay. And that's the three things they put on these gaming monitors, because that's what people care about. I would say this is fine. I don't know too much about it because I haven't used this specific model, but just looking at it, it seems to have everything you need, right? Oh, ports are important. Some take HDMI, some take DisplayPort. So make sure you have the right ports for your graphics card. Graphics card these days come with a variety of ports, like 2 DisplayPort, 1 HDMI, or 2 HDMI, 1 DisplayPort. You just want to make sure all your monitors have the right ports. What port is better, HDMI or DisplayPort? I want to say DisplayPort is known to be... I don't notice the difference. I know DisplayPort is newer, has a higher bandwidth. Oh, gotcha. So DisplayPort is better. So for my main monitor, I always try and use DisplayPort. I don't know the math, like the science behind it, but I know DisplayPort is like the premium port, and HDMI port is for like secondary monitors or consoles. All right, that's monitors. No particular brand recommendation. My current one, this one is a Dell, and the left one's a Zowie, and the right one's an Asus. So I'm using 3 separate monitors actually. Just look for the important things and look for like a high review. You'll be fine. Desk. Same thing with chairs. Desk, buy whatever the fuck you want. Buy something that makes you feel comfortable. Don't get so fixated on the idea of buying a gamer desk or buying a desk that your favorite streamer uses. Because I've used products that I saw like other streamers use and I tried it out. It's like, this is not for me. I don't like it at all. Mousepads. Guys, you don't need a recommendation for mousepad. I've used a piece of paper before, or like a really big piece of cardboard, and that was good enough. Mousepad is whatever feels best for you. Maybe the difference is in size. I use a long mousepad. This was a gift from Riot. I like it long because I like all my shit on the mousepad so it doesn't slip and slide. In the past, I've used smaller mousepads just for my mouse, and there has been time where it doesn't have that much stickiness because it was just really light and it would just move with the mouse, and I hated that. So I use a long mousepad. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me for my guide to streaming gear. The main takeaway for webcam and microphone is you can just buy something relatively inexpensive. I know I have the expensive stuff, but a $60 webcam, a $100 microphone will last you a long time. And you should maybe look to upgrade once you have a bigger following. Those are great starting points. You're not gonna lose viewers or lose out on potential fame using a $60 webcam or using a $100 microphone. Your viewers aren't going to be like, hey, this microphone isn't perfect, so I'm not going to watch this guy. As long as it's decent and there's no like background audio, and that's more of a physical, your room thing, it's gonna work. The other gear stuff, I told you guys what I like to use and what you should look for. I know a lot of people want very specific instructions or like very specific products, and I try to give as much of those as I can, but it is very much a comfortability thing when it comes to like your chair or your mouse or your keyboard or your headset. It is harder to buy gifts for someone not knowing those things. Like you want to be told, hey, buy this for little Timmy, and little Timmy would love it. You're on your own on that front. I know that's probably not helpful, but if you want the best thing for little Timmy, you should buy something he would be the most comfortable and enjoy the most with. I've given some recommendations. You can try those out. It's the ones I like. You might not like it, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what to buy, because the best decision is the one that makes the most sense for each unique individual. So thank you for watching. If you're a streamer watching this, good luck on your streaming journey. It's very difficult. I'll probably do more videos talking about how to become a famous streamer, and good luck. As for everyone else, thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy buying those gifts. I will try and link some of them below. I'm not going to put any affiliate links in it because, again, I'm not trying to make money off this video. It is purely to give you guys the most information to make a good decision buying this stuff. So good luck out there. Bye bye now.